for a long time, you were a skeptic of Bitcoin and some cryptocurrencies, but you recently appear to have changed your mind about that. What happened?
Well, COVID happened and the great monetary inflation happened, and that made me begin to think about how do you want to be positioned in your portfolio going forward. So that's really what tripped my interest in Bitcoin. And you have to realize, if you just think about, say, Bitcoin versus cash, right? Bitcoin, when I think of stores of value, I think of it four ways: purchasing power, trustworthiness, liquidity, and portability. That's kind of the categories I put it in. So when it comes to trustworthiness, Bitcoin's 11 years old. There's very little trust in it. We're watching the birthing of a store of value, and whether that succeeds or not, only time will tell. What I do know is that every day that goes by and Bitcoin survives, the trust in it will go up. If you take cash, on the other hand, and you think about it from a purchasing power standpoint, if you own cash in the world today, you know your central bank has an avowed goal of depreciating its value 2% per year. So you have, in essence, a wasting asset in your hands. So Bitcoin, I think it's a great speculation. I've got something between 1 and I think just over 1% of my assets in Bitcoin. Maybe it's almost 2. That seems like the right number right now. It's not, for me, it's not the greatest. It's not the great cure for all the monetary ills, et cetera. It's a great speculation. That's what I would say Bitcoin is.
Right. Paul, do you see this, though, in relation? I'm thinking about tech stocks now, because one of the things we have seen even over the past 2 months is just the move towards virtual. Anything that can be done virtually has had great success, whether it be Zoom or any of the big tech companies in the Valley, because we're all able to do that virtually. Is that the way you see Bitcoin? And separately, do you own gold? I was going to ask at the same time.
I have assets in gold also. I think gold can go substantially higher. And yes, the digitization of the world clearly benefits Bitcoin. I mean, we wouldn't even be talking about Bitcoin if we weren't seeing first cousins like Venmo and a variety of other ways. My children don't even carry cash. They barely even know what cash is. So we're clearly digitizing the global economies. You've seen some countries do it explicitly, like India. You're seeing other countries on the way to do it, like China. So we're getting in an increasingly digitized world, and Bitcoin will be that much more accessible by that universe of people that could own it as a store of value. When you think about every bull market, every single bull market has one common thread: an ever-expanding universe of people who own it. So there's probably, the estimates are between 55 and 70 million people own Bitcoin. We really, if you're buying Bitcoin, your bet is that number is going to go to 120 million or to 200 million. And it's kind of hard when you look around and you see that the world's becoming increasingly digitized, not to think that the preponderance of evidence at this point in time doesn't point in that direction. But again, when I think of Bitcoin, I look at it as one tiny part of a portfolio. It may end up being the best performer of all of them. I kind of think it might be, but I'm very conservative. I'm going to keep a tiny percent of my assets in it, and that's it. It has not stood the test of time, for instance, the way that gold has, which has been a store of value for 2,500 years.